I ain't touching shit.
And we're back.
Oh,
So for those that Katie decided that if she was going to be done with the night, everyone was going to be done with the night at that point. So
I
we
guess this is
apologize about
I
that.
guess this is a perfect time for an ad break, I guess.
Oh yeah,
For
we don't even worry about these with this at that point.
Oh
There is no
man.
natural breaks in the sense of any of these crossovers.
Oh, that was great.
Never mind.
Okay, well, what Heinz is gone. Spoilers or whatever.
Yeah.
Joe, Clay, what did you guys think of Secret Invasion?
So, other than the very polarizing, of course, conversation, because I got to listen to Marvel Alliance today while I was out doing some errands. I
Still haven't had a chance to. I'll get that.
I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it as far as like, is this going to be something that I stay up until 2 a.m. to watch every single night? I did with this one. It's usually a kind of a tradition for me to do at least for the first episode of every Disney Plus show. I stay up at least the first episode to watch it. Um, I like the feel. Um, I liked the opening as far as the conversation, like you guys said, the narration, like the real kind of just giving the audience everything that they need to know for how this show is going to be. I really dig that. Um, and I totally agree with you guys about the opening scene where Maria Hill just sees somebody transform into somebody who she, is supposed to know, and then she doesn't question it at all. I thought that was a very hilarious point out, Brent, on your end. Um, but I liked it. Um, I am hesitant to believe or to not believe. I'm not entirely sure how I feel. What is the truth for what happened at the very end of the episode, though?
I think we can talk spoilers here.
Yeah.
I know David has seen it. Jim, you saw Secret Invasion, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay.
So Secret Invasion spoilers. Let's speak openly.
Yeah. Maria Hill getting shot and dying at the end of the episode. I think by the time the credits roll, she has like gone still. She isn't breathing anymore compared to, Fury holding her and whatnot. I think that the indication that she is dead is definitely there. But I on one side I don't want to believe it, and then on one other side I feel like Kobe Smulders could possibly be like, if there's a way out of this, I'll go ahead and take it.
It's very interesting just in the first episode of the show, like we're questioning already whether she's dead or not and or whether she's a Skrull or not. In one episode.
Yeah.
See,
It's already
I
done
thought
that.
I thought she was dead. Maybe because we saw in the very beginning when the Ross scroll got shot, it took him 30 seconds, maybe a minute before he changed to a scroll, back to a scroll after he died.
Yeah.
And here we lingered on Maria for that time because, like you said, Fury was holding her when she passed, and then he put her down, and then he had to run off.
Yeah. I'm still of the camp right now that she is dead. We'll maybe, if anything, we'll see her in flashbacks if that's it. But she will be the big reason. Her body being there, they're going to try to pin it on her as being the architect of these bombs and try to continue making that Russia versus the U.S. war.
The only thing that I can say about her not being dead, and a friend of mine pointed this out, is that the Everett Ross death, the fall is a more instant death, whereas with the shot, it's not. Yes, you see her laid out, but there have been times in movies where that person is not fully dead, so they would not have reverted back to Skrull form, especially since Fury had to run off. So if that person wasn't fully dead and they were maintaining their form, then Maria still could be around. We could get more of Robin Sparkles, which I'm really hoping that she is not gone.
Well, I like that you're bringing up the Princess Bride rules when it comes to how dead are we at that point?
Because let's be completely honest, how easy would it be for these scrolls to then take her into the camp that they have created, and then have her form to then manipulate however they want, right?
Well, I think, and I'll point to a scene that has been in the trailers at that point. We just got a small taste of like those that have been captured at the point. There is a scene in the trailer of a huge warehouse full of people that they have taken already.
Yeah.
And I brought up on Marvel Alliance this week that in the comic, you get to the point where some of these Skrulls actually get so indoctrinated into who they're portraying that they actually think who they are at that point.
Yeah.
If Maria Hill, this version of Maria Hill, was a Skrull at that point, how committed was this person? And if that commitment goes into the sense of the reversion, how much have they mastered in the sense of holding on to their form up to a certain point?
Yeah. And Brent, I was yelling at my car when you were like, how do we know that Fury last time we saw Fury was at the end of Endgame? And you mentioned Far From Home, and then you mentioned the funeral at the
timeline.
Yeah, I was yelling at my car driving, and then you finally were like, "Oh, wait a minute! They did show that Fury was a Skrull at the end of Far From Home." So,
well, it wasn't just that; it was the part on Far From Home I was focused on was the part where he was at the Saber headquarters.
Yeah.
And I was stuck on that. I was like, okay, well, we know he was in space in roughly 2024 when Far From Home ended. Everyone keeps acting like he's been gone for years. It doesn't line up unless they know he was gone for years, but the rest of the world doesn't because of Talos.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because it's mentioned in No Way Home that Fury is off-world.
Yeah.
And don't we have in the trailer for Marvels, like he's off-world?
Yeah, he's up on the headquarters.
Yeah, one of the first thing in the trailer. So, with a little clean shaven,
and no Maria Hill. Just saying.
I mean, not in the trailer, but one of the questions that we got this week on the show was, do we think this Secret Invasion's before or after the Marvels? So what do you guys think?
I think it's chronological.
I was going to say, I agree with your explanation, Brent. There hasn't been anything recently, as far as I believe 2020, and even earlier than that, where everything has gone by release date as far as timeline goes.
I mean, talk to Black Widow, but
yes. Other than Black Widow, because you had also talked about Everett Ross, and I was like, because you were like, when did we see him last? I was like, technically Black Widow, but then you said Infinity War. I was like, oh yeah, technically timeline wise, yeah.
Everett Ross,
because
Secretary Ross.
Secretary.
Okay, I was like, Everett Ross was not in either of those movies. But
sorry.
Everett Ross was last time I saw him was Black Panther.
We've all made that mistake before.
When like he shows up at the beginning of Secret Wars and he's like, "Oh, I gotta talk to Fury." I'm like, did he get in contact with Fury? Like Fury's still technically part of Shield, and he's on the run. Like this doesn't. Sure, yes, but you know what I mean. Saber, whatever. But like he's on the run at the end of Black Panther. This can't be Ross. Like I don't think this is Ross. And sure enough, it wasn't.
He's been in enough deep cover, and I brought this up in the show that this person has found a way to contact Maria Hill to get extract.
Fair.
Or at least has been in enough that however long Ross has been supposedly gone, they've gotten those memories out of him so that this person knows how to contact Hill.
Yeah. One thing that I kind of rolled my eyes at in this episode was when Maria Hill was chasing after Emilia Clarke's character,
Gaia.
Gaia. They get in a tussle. Maria Hill gets knocked down, and then we immediately see Talos like right around the corner. I was like, wasn't he just in the other building with Fury? Like it showed that they were kind of walking pretty far.
Fury, we hadn't even seen Fury yet in the episode when this happened.
This was during it was the part where Fury.
When Ross dies and Taylor.
No. I'm talking
go
about
with
when Maria Hill had a tussle with Gaia.
My mistake. You're right. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
it
with
was.
you.
It was at that part where Talos and Fury were interrogating that other scroll, and they seemed very far apart, and then all of a sudden Talos just showed up around the corner.
What if? Okay, so now I'm going back, and maybe Hill was a scroll. What if that was actually what was the name? The wife, the mom.
Oh.
Oh,
I can't remember her name.
Talos' wife. I know what
Yeah.
you mean.
What if that was her? Or what if Talos is her and that was actually Talos as Maria Hill? I don't know. I'm reaching here.
That's
I mean, they
far
also
reach.
they tried using that as motivation for Gaia and stuff, like her death. So I don't know if I'm with that, but
Agreed. It
it
doesn't
is
plot, but
I mean, yeah, maybe I would say it's a non-zero chance.
Yeah. Just
Jim,
explain why he's there so quick.
Jim, David, what do you guys think?
I mean, I kind of lean more towards Brent and Clay here because I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out like, okay, who is actually could be who? Because I think I asked this to some friends of mine the other day. I was like, are we 1,000% sure that the Ross we saw is the same one from in Black Panther 2? Like,
We are not
No,
1,000%
no.
sure of that.
no, I was like, are we like? So I'm like, all right, okay. I mean, my small ADD brain will probably just be like, we'll take it for face value, and then like, what? But yeah, I mean, I'll probably have to do a rewatch because I normally rewatch these episodes and again, but I haven't done that yet with this one. So I'm definitely probably going to do it like the day before just to be like, okay, cool.
I was thinking about this yesterday as I was rewatching the first Black Panther, and I started thinking about Everett Ross. I'm like, all right, so how far back of a scroll is he? And I was like, I can definitively say that he's not one in Black Panther 1. And the reason why I say that is because the fact that he was a colonizer, there is no way he got into Wakanda without every body scan imaginable. So
True.
Yeah, that's a good point because I thought Shuri would have picked up on it on healing him, but she probably would have picked up on it before even
yeah,
the healing.
there's
Great point.
no way he got into Wakanda as an outsider, as a colonizer, without going through every scan imaginable. So
okay.
I think at that point you can say for definite, okay, that was the Ross that we know. Then after that, it does get a little bit murky. Like there were some times in Black Panther 2 where you're just like, what's going on with his character and things like that. The whole back and forth with
Val,
him and don't call her
Don't
Val.
call her Val.
I said it for that reason.
And just their whole interactions that does put some murkiness on it. I mean, it starts off so you see Everett Ross in the in earlier movies just being more of the agent, and then now you cut to he's running, he's training, he's living his best life and things like that. So I was like, is this the same person? Now I'm going back and I'm looking at stuff to try and see when was what. So I'm not quite sure when he changed, and I'm hoping that he's still alive somewhere so we do get him back. I don't know how they're going to play the people that they have captured, and after they take their minds, what's going to become of them. So who do we see back? And if Maria Hill is in fact the one that we saw get shot was in fact a scroll, and if she does die, do we still get the other Maria Hill back? Because I know she has said in interviews that this is some of her best MCU work. Was that just getting us to watch it, or is that something that we have more to come from that character? I hope we have more to come from that character because, again, I've loved Kobe Smulders in that role, so I do want to see more. But it has definitely had me going back and looking at interactions and the way people are and trying to figure out, is that true to how I perceive the character?
Brent and Chris, y'all both had a conversation, and I believe it was a Fact or Fiction about like somebody from the MCU past that we know will be seen as a Skrull. Chris, you clarified and said that it won't be a title character, as far as of course the movies that we've seen.
Yeah.
That was David's question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we suspect anybody other than Rhodes? And we, of course, have been debating whether Maria Hill is or not. Is there anybody else that we think
I just
could
popped my head. What about Sharon Carter? I think that was a
A
person.
lot of people are
were
hoping
thinking.
for that.
Yeah.
I saw
Power broke and all that.
I didn't read the article, but I saw a headline today.
I completely forgot about Sharon Carter being the
People
power.
are wondering about Okoye at the end of Wakanda Forever, and she breaks out Ross. I didn't read the article. I didn't see the reasoning. I didn't have time to actually read the article, but I really haven't started diving into the other movies to think was somebody acting like grossly out of character at this point? Because I would argue she wasn't during that part, but.
I definitely think that there's going to be a major supporting cast member that's going to be done, and it's going to be one of those moments that people are going to be like, "Oh, this just changes my whole opinion." It's definitely going to make some people upset.
We're gonna see Tony Stark. The in-game Tony Stark was always a Skrull.
Well, that no.
I think Tony Stark is actually behind the,
Skrulls.
Gravik and the evil scrolls. I think he's been, funding that the entire time.
I mean, he does create a lot of villains, so
He does. He's the best.
Darn near everyone.
he's going to create Kraven. We all know that.
Oh God, I hope so.
That line is genetically engineered Stark tech.
Well, I mean, we could always say that Morbius was a Skrull, and we can just wipe that all the way off the map. That wasn't our real Morbius. That was just a Skrull.
I got turned into a vampire.
If we're gonna pull that, then there's Kraven as a scroll.
I was gonna say, but then you would still have Jared Leto as Morbius, though. That's the only.
There's
problem
nothing
with
wrong
that
with
But
that.
he was actually good at that part.
But even answering my own question, I've been trying to think of somebody who could be seen as a Skrull, and I honestly can't, other than like a title character, which would be shocking to the masses. I don't know who else could be a Skrull.
Well, Chris's theory, not MCU, but technically, but you'll know what I mean. Chris's theory about the president, I think, is pretty on.
Oh yeah, but the way that him and Rhodes were talking very much felt like they were had a grudge against Fury and all of that's going on. So I feel like the only reason why that would be with the story is that they are Skrulls.
I mean, it leads even more into the idea of that new title for Captain America, Brand New World. I mean, this is going to set up a lot of different issues when this finally breaks out into the world of the invasion.
Yeah.
So, anything else anyone wants to kind of go into or hopes for the rest of the summer?
I got Vegas coming up. That'd be fun.
Nice.
Jealous.
Yeah. First time going, so I've never been.
I was gonna say, still
you might
haven't gone.
Do you like to gamble?
Yeah, so. I buy
Well,
lotto
you'll be good
tickets
then.
all the time.
How long are you going to be there?
For the week. We're flying
That's a lot of
out.
Vegas.
Well, I guess it'd be really like 4 or 5 days. We're flying out Monday. Should get down there Monday afternoon, evening ish, and then we're leaving Friday morning to come back.
All right, that's pretty cool.
So
I
Emily's
really
got a
do
bunch
like.
of
I like Vegas.
she's got a bunch of stuff set up. We're gonna go see the Zach
Britney
Baggins.
Spears.
No, she doesn't have residency there anymore.
Oh,
We're gonna go see the Zach Baggins haunted tour or whatever. I don't know. We like the haunted
Sure.
house stuff.
Cool.
We're going to the like ice lounge or something, the bar that's like nothing but ice.
oh, yeah.
Everything's made out of ice. So they give you like parkas and hats and gloves.
That's in Gotham.
I was about to say, if you see the penguin, you
I don't know
get
what
out
the
of
hell it's
there.
called. I can't remember what it's called.
The Iceberg Lounge. I'm just gonna go with that. It at least makes more sense for people like a descriptor about it.
Yeah,
I will say, Joe, if you have a chance, just because I know that there are some really cool graded comics there, try and see if you can make your way to Torpedo Comics in Las Vegas.
Okay.
I believe
Is Avengers Station still in Las Vegas? It's like a big giant MCU Marvel museum thing.
Oh, that'd be fun. I know. We're gonna be
I'll
walking
send you a
around
link.
a lot. Thank you. We're gonna be walking around a lot. Like she has like dinners planned, and a couple like events planned, but it's mainly gonna be. And this is all for my birthday. My birthday's next week, so she's just taking me there for my birthday. And it's
Happy
all
birthday.
gonna be. Thank you. Just gonna have a good time, relaxing. Should be fun, So we might actually have time to be able to go do some of this extra stuff. Might check this out.
the Torpedo Comics is owned by the System of the Down drummer.
Oh,
Yeah, so
that should be
Chop
fun.
suey.
But no, other than that, just trying to get ahead on some recordings for Walk Through the Multiverse and Comic Book Rundown and all that, and that's really just working too much. Apparently, I'm trying to catch up since I had to take my dad to chemo like Monday for the last 6 weeks. I've been putting in a ton of overtime, one for Vegas, but also for to catch up on hours and to try to get my bank account up a little bit more. But so that's really just I did find out today that apparently because I started taking overtime those last couple weeks, I ruined somebody else from taking overtime. This lady at work who does overtime constantly, and we have a equalization of hours in EOH. So if somebody wants overtime and they have less hours, they automatically get it. Well, because I decided I needed to do some overtime, she got really pissy about it and like put in a committee call, tried to like do something to where I can't get it. And everybody's just like, that's not how that, no, stop. Found out today that yesterday that she was really upset about it. And now I want to get the whole line that I work on to try and commit to overtime on the jobs that she knows that she can't get the overtime because I'm a spiteful person.
I was gonna say you don't hold a grudge there, Joe, at all.
Bravo on the
That's a long
pettiness.
troll,
Bravo
though,
on the
but-
pettiness.
I support it.
And this is the beginning of her villain story.
I think it's the beginning of Joe's villain story.
No, my beginning was a few months ago on the
we
crossover
don't talk
episode.
about that. We don't talk about that.
Oh, I just remembered what it was.
Yeah, when nobody showed up, I was on the stick with myself. What? Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about.
But David,
about
Jim,
Yeah.
how do you? What about you guys? You got anything crazy going on in the summer for the next couple months?
I mean, not really. This is actually kind of my downtime with work because living in Memphis, I work in television production, all that. I work a remote job for the Weather Channel's new streaming service. So thankfully, when I moved here from Atlanta, I was able to join them. But right now it's kind of dead for me in terms of like work because it's just minor league baseball a couple times a month. But once October hits, then it's NBA basketball, G League, Memphis, University of Memphis women's basketball, some all that. So summer is literally like old school, like summer break for me. And then once September and October hits, it's like full speed ahead. But I'm trying to save up for Disney trips and other stuff. So it's
Nice.
it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Work for me has actually stepped up. I just got some
Has
new
Has it? I had
response.
no idea.
Yeah, I just got some new responsibilities and some new tasks, and luckily though that has kind of come with an adjustment in pay. It's a little weird gray area, but I mean it's more money, and I was like,
your check's gonna be bigger. That's what matters.
I was like, single dad mode, yes, give it all. I'll take the responsibility as long as it comes with the pay. So that and I'm stacking up because I got some vacations and stuff lined up. I've got some trips across the country that I'm trying to get established and things like that. So I haven't really used my vacation in almost a year and a half. I think the last time I actually used any vacation time was when I went to Disney, and that was February of last year. So I know, right? So now I'm actually going to start using some of that and taking some much needed days off in the midst of all the work that I got done. So that's basically it for me. Just doing my dad life, constantly converting my kids into more and more nerddom. I now got my oldest on anime, and my youngest is starting to watch the old X-Men series with me. So we've been watching that together. So
I dig it.
constantly converting them kids.
Like Joe asked, I know he asked very quietly, which anime?
No, I said One Piece.
Oh, One Piece.
Yes, actually, yes.
Hell yeah.
Oh god, he's not gonna finish
it
it until he's 30 years old.
I know. Well,
That's commitment. That's a good thing.
Exactly.
Yes. So we started off and we ran through Naruto, and then we ran through Shippuden, and then we started Boruto, but he lost interest. He was like, meh. And I was like, okay. And I was like,
Fair.
what? I go, what do you want to do next? And he was like, well, my friend told me One Piece has a lot of episodes, so we won't run out. And I go, all right. I said, I'm a little bit further ahead than you by, a couple of 100 episodes, but you know what? We can throw this thing back and let's do it. So now we've been watching it together. And sometimes he watches without me. I'll catch him watching without me, or I'll look at the Netflix and I'm like, hey, buddy, looks like
How long are these episodes?
22 minutes.
Because I just Googled how many there are.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't follow anime, so I never heard of this, but I knew some of them were running for
Lengthy.
a long times.
1996 is when One Piece started.
Google tells me 1,053 episodes.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that is I think that is accurate to the newest episode too.
Oh, well, no, another
Oh,
Google
wow.
thing says
I don't know.
1,066. So
Now, I did get a guide
Jeez.
from a website that has list of episodes that he can skip, most of which
Yeah,
I've already seen.
Pillars.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it tells him canon, semi-canon, filler. So then he can decide if he wants to. For the filler ones, he's just skipping, so he can try and catch up. But for the semi-canon, he's pretty much watching most of it.
Semi-canons
our
are
commitment's out the window.
good. The semi-canons are still, yes, they have nothing to do with the plot, but or they have their own little plot between story arcs, but they're still good.
Yeah.
I'm the live action show is coming out at the end of August, and I have very low expectations, if I'm being honest.
It's a Netflix adaptation. I have very low expectations.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember what they did with Full Metal Alchemist. I do not want to talk about what they did with Death Note.
Oh,
so
yeah, that one. Actually, ironically, for Walk Through the Multiverse, I'm going to be going through the Full Metal Alchemist movies on Netflix. Maybe the Death Note again. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I want to torture myself yet. But I might actually go find the live action Japanese Death Note ones, because those were great.
I mean, you did watch Walking Dead, so I mean, you are committed to torturing yourself.
I was gonna say this: if you could watch Godzilla versus Kong, you can watch Death Note. It's the exact same director.
I mean, the only good thing about Death Note is Willem Dafoe. Like that was
so small. Like that was.
It was. Now, if you have never seen the Death Note anime and then you saw the movie, it is a mildly mildly serviceable movie. But if you have seen more than 2 episodes of the anime, then you're like,
This movie
what is this and why am I watching it? This is horrible. You had even a fleeting knowledge of these characters, then you were like,
right.
this is bad,
This
real
is
bad.
terrible. It's so bad.
I'm just listening to this thing. I have no idea what any of you are talking about. I'm aware of such
Well, hey,
things.
listen-
I know
I had
of
to
titles,
Google
and I at least got that going for me.
Listen to the upcoming episodes of Walk the Multiverse.
Well,
and
I'm
I'll break it all down.
glad because I mean with our comic book chat that the three of us have, I know Chris that you've kind of you're planning to dabble into the manga realm
am,
of
yeah.
things. So
Mhm.
Dude,
So-
so since we're doing the comic book reading challenge, I had planned to read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, and GI Joe. You know what I've
That's
been
a lot.
reading? I've been reading nothing but manga. Manga. What you know what I mean?
manga, yeah.
God, I am
It's
fucking tired.
well, I
Um,
will say this: it's so easy to read.
It is.
Yes.
Dude,
You can
like,
read
when I
like 50
actually
chapters in like 3 days.
I had to go to the library to go get some Eden Zero because the app that I've been using, like it's stopped at a part and I have to pay for it. I'm like, I'll just go borrow from the library, and I'm just burning through. Like I've got 4 of these novels or 4 of the books that I need to update my reading challenge with, and it's like 9 chapters a piece. So and that's just on one title. I got a couple other ones on a different book, a different title. So manga's fun. I like it.
Yeah, it's great. I have been planning a rewatch of Dragon Ball Z recently, and I kind of want to wait it out. And of course, I can always rewatch it whenever because I have the whole box set. But I think that's the first anime I'm going to be showing Amber Lynn when she's older. So that's really, really fun. But for myself this summer, my schedule has opened up a little bit more. Finding some gaps in that schedule to finally get back on Patreon with for the first time. Going to be finishing season 1 of Game of Thrones finally. That's going to be fun. And getting back into that. I have some other shows planned. I think I don't know how I feel about it, but it was on the list at one point, getting for the first time Rick and Morty up and running, because I still haven't seen a single episode of that. But yeah, just planning some content stuff. Been doing a lot of TikTok, comic book stuff. Chris and Joe know that I have gotten the ambassadorship for the massive verse, Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, and all of that comic book stuff, which has been really, really fun. So just a lot of content creating.
I do want to ask a question of y'all really quick because I
Yes.
know I see
Good.
a lot of y'all yawning.
I'm
Has
always
anyone
yawning.
here
Don't take it personal.
has anyone here done a Disney cruise at all?
No.
No.
My sister has.
Okay. I went on the Wish back in April. They have a Marvel themed restaurant. It's really cool. I understand it's expensive for some, but if you can swing it, I would highly
And
recommend.
surrounded by deep ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, surrounded by deep. Okay, because the ocean's not a topic at all these days.
Is it?
It's appropriate.
Tread
that
lightly there,
I-
Joe. Tread lightly.
You guys know me. So
Joe, if you would look at your TikToks, you would understand that it is a-okay to have this conversation.
well, I was just gonna say that for Halloween costumes this year.
Oh God.
Look how they,
Is someone gonna go as a
No.
Logitech controller?
no,
Stop
no.
it.
Somebody's gonna go as the ship itself.
No, we're not.
No.
I was gonna say,
Nope.
no.
It's a whole
See,
lot of
Joe,
no.
you can just be the front part,
No,
while
Stop it.
no.
Emily could just be another
No.
part, and
No.
your daughter
Request
be
denied.
another part.
Request denied.
What? No.
Denied.
Anyway,
Not
But
happening.
I love making people cringe. I'm sorry.
I actually had to close TikTok earlier because I heard a reference to that in a sexual manner. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
this is where we're at now.
What
It
happened to
is-
your algorithm?
Guys, it's gotten so bad. People have made filters on
I-
this incident,
I
as
saw
well
one,
as
it's no.
a song about the whole incident.
Just no.
So, which is a Blink 182 parody. If anybody knows the actual situation around the
Oh,
incident,
Screw
God.
that. What?
yeah.
Oh God.
Okay.
But no, as far as the cruise, I've always wanted to go on a Disney cruise, but I also have a immense fear, as well as Abby has an immense fear of like open water. So
Totally understandable. I get it. I've done 2 of them and I've had good time so far. But again, I understand. You have the fear. There's other factors as well. But it's something I would recommend. But
I've yet to be on a cruise, not because of a fear or anything like that, but one day.
Yeah, I've never done one either.
the first one I went on, I've only been on 2. So the first one, it was the same weekend as.
There's 2 more than me.
That's right. That's the same weekend as Endgame was released. And my concern was that are we entirely certain that the movie would be on the ship? Because I didn't know
remember you talking about that.
Yeah,
Like
and-
with MCU fan show, right?
Well, I think so. Yeah, like
I-
years ago.
Yes.
So luckily, Michelle and I, we saw it there at Disney Springs, like a 9:00 showing night of on that Thursday. So that was great. And then the next day, the captain's like, Endgame is on the ship. And I was like, I'm glad I saw it because I didn't want to have to get spoiled by some 10-year-old and, in the
That would
middle of
happen.
nowhere.
That totally would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But anyway, like the Marvel themed restaurant on the Wish, it's Ant-Man themed. There's an entire show with the MCU actors. I don't know if any of y'all watch vloggers or anything like that, so you can see.
Oh, is that what
stuff on
they were advertising a couple years ago with there was
the Thanos
what-
joke.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they actually like referenced the Thanos joke.
Yes,
with
Paul
Ant-Man.
absolutely does the Thanos joke. So yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it. The food on there is pretty solid anyway. But yeah, there's some I would recommend. But I like you said, I understand there are fears that people have, and I completely understand that.
Sure.
Nice.
How about you, Brent? Any summer plans?
Yeah, I'm gonna be out of town for, well, you'll know when I'm out of town because I'm gonna miss an episode of Marvel Alliance and
Or
a
2?
couple of weeks, and then I'll be back for a week, and then I'm gonna miss another week. So, we got one family trip in there and one work trip in there. So, it's going to be a busy July, and then August will, well, as far as travel is concerned, be back down to nothing, thankfully. But well, that's when we'll be ramping up for the start of the school year, and things will get super crazy again.
Yeah. Yeah, no major plans for me until end of July. Visiting Aaron's family, then my family up north. At that point, we did kind of our vacations and spring break, and right after that, at that point, it's a short summer for my county. That we've gone to a new calendar where we're starting at the beginning of August, so it's a very short summer. And but we will end at the end. We will end on Memorial Day weekend. So
That's
My
nice.
daughter was telling me that like they're starting the second week of August, which is normally they start like 3rd or 4th, but they're ending like I think May 21st.
yeah,
So like that's I was kind of shocked by that.
it's benefit for high schools in the sense that we can do exams before Christmas break or
Yeah.
winter
Oh,
break.
smart. Okay.
So that's the biggest benefit. The bad thing is now our spring break is going to be locked into the first week of March. So we
Ooh.
literally have to get to another hemisphere in order to guarantee it being warm.
Yeah.
So, but again, pluses or minuses with it. But so I'll be, it's nice to have I told this to my wife that it may be just nice having a low key summer where it's just staycations and little things here, little mini trips here or there, and I've still got plenty to do in Tears of the Kingdom, and I've not even touched Jedi Survivor, so that probably maybe July's task.
I'm terribly behind on Jedi. So I should have played through the
Yes,
story.
yes,
by
you
now.
are.
I know.
Yes, you are.
I was.
I've
just
been
about
playing
to
too many
ask,
games
Brent.
with you, sir. I've been playing too many games with
You've
you.
been cotting it up and hitting the sticks.
I beat it. I beat it while
You-
still
Are a better man than I am.
while still controlling my FIFA season and playing Call of Duty. Like
You're a
I've managed
better
to do
man
them
than I am.
all. So
I was
Man,
gonna say,
I am.
Brent, in order for it to be a business expense, you have
It's
to
not
finish
gonna-
the game to
It's not gonna be a
to
business
finish our
expense.
review.
I'm not doing it. It's not gonna be. A business.
you got to get to the scene that I keep telling you about. You'll
I
know
know,
it when
I
you
know.
see it.
I will. And I will be sure to let you know. Today, I thought I had 30 minutes to play games, so I fired up FIFA, played a couple games. Ended up being over 2 hours in hindsight. I'm like, God damn it! I would have played if I'd known I had that long.
Again, just get to the
It's
scene that I call
where,
Super
where Cal
Nightcrawler.
Kestis goes, Cal Skywalker. Boom. I just saved you it all.
I like
Does
that.
does he get a yellow lightsaber in that scene?
No, he gets an indigo lightsaber. It totally blows everyone's mind.
Well, he has a yellow lightsaber when I'm controlling him.
Or
No,
me, but
The
Sounds
scene I'm
orange.
referencing, in Clay, you may understand once I say it, is I keep telling Brent to let me know when he gets to the Super Nightcrawler scene. So once he gets to that,
Yeah, he just figured it out. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I was like, well, once you get to that, you will text me like, what the?
I will text you when I get there. I will.
It'll just be in a couple years, so just wait on
You
it.
just better hope it's before October 20th because all the other games are dead.
It
I
will
think they
not
all-
be before October 20th.
we got that day off. I mean, it wasn't like
It's just
a school
purely
day off, but
coincidental
we have
that we
day
don't have
off.
work that day.
I mean, let's be real, guys. Like on like October 30th, we'll see you guys playing it in the office anyway. So
I mean,
Probably so.
it's possible.
There'll be an image that will somehow leak into the chat. So.
It's possible.
All right, it is now 11 o'clock on the East Coast at this point, and it's many different hours later on everyone else's coast. So I think this is a good time to bring part 2 of the June crossover to a close.
That'll
Jim,
we
David,
got May and June here. It's fine.
yeah. Jim, David, thank you as always for being patrons.
Thank you, guys.
You for joining us tonight, and we hope you all enjoyed your time, and we will hopefully see you all next month.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
See you. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.